Hi everyone. I think this is my first soft spoken video that I'm going to do. I don't think my voice will be quite normal actually because I'm recovering from COVID, and after I recovered from COVID, I got a sinus infection. So my entire throat and nasal passages are still kind of scratchy. I'm not gonna really talk too much. I wanted to do a little video today, a little ASMR video with this paint scent I bought. The bristles look a little rough, so I'm not sure how the painting is gonna come out with them, but if it turns out a little wonky, we can always redo it with another brush, but I'll probably redo it later if it comes out funny. So the kit came with this miniature easel, the little canvas, and some paint pots. Oh yeah, and a brush. It's plastic bristles, but I think it should still be able to do the job. And then I got my water. So I don't think I'm gonna paint the canvas background unless some paint kind of goes out of bounds and I'm trying to fix it. So I might keep this blank. So let's just focus on the little rosettes and the icing and the main image. Alright. Buying kits with acrylic paint pots can be hit or miss sometimes. I don't have a problem with this one. I have all of the paints are still very wet, but in some kits from other companies I did run to the unfortunate episode of having dry paint. So I think honestly it's good to have like your own tubes just in case like a kit you bought is dry. It happens sometimes due to like the storage methods or anything that could have happened during shipment, because acrylic paints, like a lot of paints, have to be at a certain temperature or they do dry up. All right. I don't know. I could mix. Truthfully, I really don't know how I want to paint this. There's only 4 colors, and I could mix them to create other combinations, but there's not much paint available. I think we'll make the cake yellow. It might need 2 layers. It is I mean, it's showing the yellow, but actually it's not a bad effect for a cake. I might just keep it 1 layer. You don't need every color super bright, especially for a cake. I'm just gonna do this because I want the icing to be a different color. Alright, we finished the first layer of the cake. Now we're gonna work on the second layer. Alright, now we have the top layer. It's yellow, but it's not bad. Yellow cakes remind me of sponge cake. I just don't want it to be super bright. So I'm not gonna, like the bottom one, I'm not gonna layer it too much. So, alright, this part I'm gonna have to fix in a little bit. So the cake portion more or less is done. So the set, I think you can see it. This is also something that kind of happens with jarred acrylic sets. Sometimes all the paint gets stuck to the top lid, but the paint is a hold on. The paint is a peachy pink color. So what I'm going to do for this is I'll use that for the icing and for the inner parts of the roses, and then I'll mix some of this with white to make a softer effect for the rose. That way it's not like blending in together like one big mush. So it'll be, like, I guess easier to visualize what I'm talking about when I'm painting it. Let me see. I wish I had my regular paint set, but most of my paintbrushes are in storage at the moment, and it would be a big hassle because it's under a lot of stuff. So I'll get them out later. But I think the color they put in this kit is actually a really nice one for icing. This is like a color, like a creamy pastel color you can imagine real icing to be. So let me gonna wet it a little bit. The brush is damp, by the way. It's not very dry. You're going to hear a little bit of a scritch sound, mostly because it's plastic bristles. And I think a lot of brushes are made from plastic bristles these days, but I think, you know, there's different thicknesses and stiffness levels, if that makes sense. Because a lot of the brushes I purchase are usually very soft bristles, so I'm not really used to thick bristles like this, like that. I'm not really used to really thick bristles. Yeah, see, you don't want it too wet either, because then the paint is gonna get runny, which is actually good if you want a watercolor effect. Some people do that on purpose to make their paintings look more watercolor, but it's not so good when you're trying to fill in like a stencil design. I might have to touch it up a little bit. Alright, the ice ink more or less is done. But I did notice, like, sometimes this stuff doesn't really bother anyone, but it bugs me. But over here, I just wanna just dab it, because if you try to paint it in, sometimes what that does is just the colors blend together, and I don't really want to do that. Okay, I think we are done with fixing the icing. Now I can focus on the roses on top and the dish. So I think first I'm going to do the leaves. I want to do the leaves if I can get any paint. It seems that the bucket for the green is unfortunately a little dry. Here, I'll show you. When it's in this like clay-like texture. Sometimes water can resurrect it, but sometimes it's a little too far gone, so the water can't really save it, and then it becomes too hard to use as paint. It's okay. We'll do what we can. Let's see. I did in the past have like really nice elaborate paint by numbers set. This one is not really a paint by numbers set, but they usually came in with buckets of acrylic paint too. Some of the bigger sets use better quality paints, but it also depends on what brand you're buying. Hold on. I have to do this and this. But I do know how to just draw and paint in general, but like line art, I wouldn't call myself like a professional or anything. I find it relaxing. Not all the time. If I do it all the time, I think it would be too much for me, but in moderation, just like when I do embroidery or sewing. In moderation, it's a relaxing pastime for me. I don't know how to sew clothing, but I'm okay with embroidery. I've done a few sets in the past. Again, I wouldn't call myself an expert or anything. There are very, very elaborate and like high-end embroiderers out there. I've seen them in groups, and they do a lot of crazy things I could never dream of in a million years. But they have but I'm okay with it. And as long as you know some basic stitches, you could do a lot of designs. And honestly, embroidery, if that's a craft you guys want to attempt, there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube, like a lot, and ones for individual stitches too if you're stuck on a particular stitch. And that's what I usually did to teach myself. When you buy embroidery kits, sometimes it doesn't require one stitch. Sometimes, some of them do, but a lot of the big ones require like 4 or 5 different stitch types. And the diagrams that would come with the kits were usually not very helpful for me. So when I kind of figured it out, like after, you know, watching tutorials online. It's a time-consuming hobby, that's for sure. But I think the payoff is really nice when you finally like completed something that you worked hours for, you know? I would like to try different methods down the line. Maybe like, I don't know, when you're like when you have early retirement or something, right? And then you can like invest on all your leisure time in either like socializing with friends or go traveling or just reading books and doing hobbies. I think that's when I would want to focus on doing very elaborate embroidery, but we'll see. I do want to learn how to do so many other things, so it's a matter of if my hands can move as fast as how my mind wants to do. Because your brain can create like 5,000 ideas or more, right? In one day. It can kind of go flashing by in your head. But actually executing it takes work. So this part is gonna definitely be really hard because I want to mix the peach color to fill in the petals, but honestly with how rough the brush is and how much of a hard time it's giving me, I might just leave the petals white. Because even if I mix the paint with like white, it's going to like override the little intricate designs, and then you can't really tell it's a rose anymore. So I'm just literally gonna fill in these parts and just like that, and then we're gonna do that like that. It's not gonna be perfect, guys, I'm sorry, I tried. And then let's see, we're gonna try that and that, and then like that, and then like that. All right, we did it, sorta. You know what I might do instead? I might just do it like that. You can still see the pattern, obviously, but you're just kind of like filling in the whole bauble instead of using two different colors for the flowers. With the type of brush that was given, it's like really, really hard to do intricate details with it, unfortunately. Some green got on that last one. I'm gonna just try to go over it. If not, we're just gonna have a greenish pink rose here. It's okay. Alright, I think we can do that. I'm just gonna go over it one more time with some peach. I have to touch up on the green, and I'll see what else I want to do with this. Alright, so I think I have an idea. It's a little unorthodox, but first let me just fix the green. As you can see, some of the petals here got a little damaged. So I think I'm going to just use the tip and try to go over where the stencil design is with the back. So let's see if it'll work. Just, yeah, like that. Just so you can still at least get a bit of a rose design, you know? So I was recovering from an illness. I'm mostly better, but this is why there was a delay in postings for a while. Alright, so this is how the cake looks. Very meh. I could touch it up and do it and do more layers, but I really don't want to. I'm not in the mood. I might do a background actually. I thought I wasn't gonna do it, but I think I'm gonna make a background. I'm probably gonna do like an ombre background. It's just easier, and then I'll just do like a few colors together and mix it up. So let me try that and see what happens. If I'm not sure, because it's only like four colors that normally don't really go together. Well, the white might help make it more pastel, so that might help it. Because I have basically white, a pastel peachy color, and two primary colors, the green and yellow. So mixing it all for a background effect might create something brownish, I think. But I'm gonna put white, and I'm gonna try to make it an ombre thing with the plastic bristly brush. So we'll see how that goes. It might be a good experiment or it might be terrible, but you know what? Life is a learning experience. You won't know till you try. Alright, so we're gonna have, let me just wet this brush. We're gonna put the green down here, and then we're gonna have the yellow up here, and then the peach. The peach is gonna go here, and then the white, which is kind of hard and cakey, so it's not gonna really work. Yeah, the white completely dried up and I can't even use it. Here, look. Like I can't even put my brush on it. It's okay. Alright. So we're gonna have more pink in between all of it, just to make more of an ombre effect. Hopefully the pink doesn't make it too brownish. Now brown ideally would actually look really nice if this was like an autumn themed piece, because you want like those oranges and reds and brown in the background. I just don't think for this cake in particular it's going to look very nice. So I don't know, we'll see. Like, I don't know, if this wasn't such a primary color, if this was more like, if the whole cake was pastel, I think brown would be a perfect background actually. But because of these colors, I'm not, it might work, it might work. I have a tendency of overthinking things, so it might not be as bad as I'm thinking. Okay, no. Even though it's kind of mixing in the bottom, it's not, it's okay. Let me just get the green to the other side. And now I kind of have to, the ombre effect kind of worked here, kind of, as much as it could with a very hard bristly brush. So I'm gonna, let me just do this little bit. All right, it kind of worked, okay. So I'm gonna go this way, and I think we'll be done with this little cake. I don't really understand anything anymore, so. But I mean something. But I do think. All right. I tried. So it's okay. I don't hate it. I don't know how loud I went, sorry. Maybe this isn't gonna turn out into such an ASMR video, but I hope you guys had got at least some tips for using acrylic paints with this video. And going forward, I don't know. I do think I'd like to listen to how do you say? I'm drawing a blank. I don't know. I might do some role plays in the future, but I haven't really decided what I want to do. I keep saying, ooh, plans, right? But let's not put any pressure. I'll take it a video at a time. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you next time. Bye.